Hi, my name's Nikki. I'm the Obsessive Bookseller, and welcome to my Tackling the TBR video for February. There's a ramble video coming out on this subject, but basically, I am throwing most of my structure and rules for reading out the window, and so this TBR will still consist of high priority items, but I am not setting myself a have-to-read list for February. Now, what I'm doing is compiling things that really have my interest and allowing myself to pick from them at a whim. So yeah, it's planned reading, but it's also mood reading all mixed into one, and it's a system that I'm really loving. So to that end, I'm not picking out like 5 or so titles that I'm going to absolutely read this month. What I've done is compiled this massive list, and so I will briefly go through all the books that I am interested in possibly picking up this month. And I'm also running a challenge on Fantasy Buddy Reads, short month, short books, so novellas and short stories. So I do have a handful of books that I'd like to read for that challenge. And Burning Light by Bradley Bulew is one of them. I think his world building is really cool, and so I can't wait to see what he does with a short story. I also need to continue Kraken's Tooth by Anthony Ryan and City of Songs. I read the first book a few months ago, and I don't care if I haven't written a review for it yet. I'm going to continue. Really loving this world. In fact, I might even go back and reread the first one because it has been long enough that I've forgotten the names of characters and details or whatever. That is the only problem with novellas for me, is I'm not with anything long enough to really gain a sense of connection to them, unless it's a series format of novellas like this, in which case I do a little bit better. Let's talk about digital first. I'm looking at We Ride the Storm by Devin Madsen. I've been seeing this pop up on other booktubers channels who have read a lot of the same things that I've read and enjoyed, and so that one is slowly creeping its way up the priority list. God's War by Cameron Hurley. It's the first book in the Beldam Apocrypha series. I should be starting this one tomorrow as a buddy read, and it's kind of picked up on a whim. It's a sci-fi that's on my shelves. It's from an author that I keep saying I want to read more from, so why not now? I'm a little nervous about it. Cameron Hurley has a tendency to, write such visceral stuff that you can't just listen to it casually or read it casually. You have to be present for it, or else she'll make you present for it with the kind of weird stuff that she has going on. So we shall see how that one goes. I have in the docket the Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. This is so different from everything that I've been reading lately that I'm looking for it as like a breath of fresh air. I love the author's Old Man War series and have planned to read a lot of the stuff that he has out that I haven't gotten to yet. But yeah, totally on board for that one. And if I get through that, I'd like to try Shadows Past by Lorna Freeman. It's the third book in the Borderlands series that I haven't gotten to yet. That one is kind of like I would really like to wrap up the series so I can move on, but I'm also super excited to read it because I find the writing of Lorna Freeman very relaxing. I love the characters. They do remind me a bit of Robin Hobb, but the overall structure of the 3 books that are out doesn't really take you anywhere. So I can't recommend it as awesome as Robin Hobb. But if you're okay with just individual novel chunks, especially the first one, then yeah, it'd be a cool pick, something kind of off the beaten path. And this one doesn't come out until June, but I'm chomping at the bit to read In the Shadow of Lightning. Yeah, that's right. And it's by Brian McClellan. It's the first book in his new series. And yeah, if I don't at least try the first chapter by the end of the month, I'd be surprised because I'm really excited to read it. Another John Scalzi, Collapsing Empire, per Project Urban Fantasy, which is just now occurring to me you haven't seen the video for yet because I keep having to push it back because of all of the end of year videos that I scheduled in to create. So I mentioned Project Sci-Fi forever ago, but have not yet showed you what that entails. So that'll probably be near the end of February when you see that. In any case, one of the books on it is The Collapsing Empire. It's a trilogy. Some have mentioned that it'll give you all the same awesomeness that Old Man's War did, but in a more concise, less meandering format of a trilogy. So I'm all over that. Really excited. I'm also once again looking at Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. My audiobook has become available at the library, and I'd better get to reading it within the next week, or else I'm going to have to wait another 3 months again. So, this one will happen. Probably. Me let a book expire at the library before I finish it? Never. Wisdom of Crowds. It's going to be so bittersweet to read this. I know I'm going to love it, but I also know there's going to be quite a wait between now and his next work. So, yeah, bittersweet. Although I do have the YA trilogy to read still. House of Chains by Steven Erikson. With all of the physical reads that I have going on, I really don't see myself getting to this, but this is one of my options if I'm just feeling like I need to branch off and pick up something random. This would be something random for me because I probably wouldn't be looking at reading it until about April if I had my structure in place, but we shall see. I've been itching to continue. Transformation by Carol Berg. I mentioned this in last month's video. It is very close to being read. I am really excited to see what this author has to offer. I have so many books by her, so yeah, looking forward to that. And then, spoiler alert from an upcoming book haul, but I got Shorefall, the second Foundry Sigh novel. I ordered it immediately after finishing the first one because I enjoyed it so much, so can't wait to get to that one. And then Malice. I have personally initiated at least 2 buddy reads for this book and then bailed on both of them. But, so many people signed up that they didn't miss me. But yeah, to be the one to be like, hey, anybody want to read Malice this month? And then getting too busy or intimidated to start it, yeah. But I can feel myself wanting to push it off until I wrap up other things a little better. But no, I feel like reading this book. I am going to read it soon because I want to. And that's just how things are. Oh, and I forgot to mention, In the Shadow of the Gods, also by John Gwynne, was picked as my local book club pick, so I will be maybe reading 2 John Gwynne books this month. How cool would that be? But that one's not due until the end of March, so I may do that one in March and Malice this month because I just can't wait. The Thief Queen's Daughter. You're probably sick of seeing this, but I'm actually currently reading this one right now and loving it. This is everything that I hope for in a middle grade book. Everything that makes me excited about the world building and the discoveries and the games. And this is just such a cool set of books. There are 4 of them. This is the second one. If it takes me longer than a week to devour, I'd be surprised. The premise of it is these are lost journals from this famous explorer from when he was a young boy, kind of getting into the world exploration. That's such a poor way to describe it. But essentially, they found his journals, and from that, they pieced together what they could salvage of his actual written words, told the story in between, and included, drawings that he made and stuff. And, it's just such a cool concept. And Elizabeth Hayden is an adult fantasy writer. She wrote the Symphony of Ages series. This is actually set in the same world, but it's very loosely connected. This is a treasure for me. I am savoring every word. So excited. So, yeah, stay tuned. I might be praising the series as a whole when I get through it. Also on my list as something to consider reading soon, She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. I was already interested in reading this book because I like the Asian fantasy market right now, but a co-moderator on our Goodreads group, it was her favorite book last year, and her and I tend to line up on tastes quite often, so yeah, she's got me all fired up to read this, so I might get to it this month, I might not, meh. And then finally, Jade City by Fonda Lee. I'm planning to do this one in audio rather than physically read, even though I have the physical copy. And right now I am 25th on 4 copies, and my position in line has not budged in over a month. So I may have to either read the physical or break down and spend an Audible credit on it, but I want to be conservative where I can, and if I can get it for free from the library, I should. But how much I want to read this, do I really want to wait another 6 months to get a hold of a copy? We shall see. It'll be determined by my mood reading. So that's quite the lineup. I am not reading all of those this month, but that's the pool of high priority things that I'm excited to get to that I'm going to pick from. And it falls in line with my personal mantra. It's always creepy when a door shuts by itself. Anyway, it falls in line with my personal mantras of read the best books first because you may not have a chance to read them all, and life's too short to read books you're not enjoying. So I thought I was reading the best books first, but what I was doing is establishing what the best books were at one given point and then sticking to that strictly, even though what I want to read changes on a whim. If I write a list of high priorities tomorrow, some of the things might change. So, yeah, allowing myself to be a lot more fluid, and I feel like I'm sticking to those personal mantras more than I ever have before, and I'm loving it. Did I mention I'm loving it? You're going to be hearing a lot about that, and so I apologize, but I'm just really enthusiastic about what I got going on right now. So here's to a good month in reading. Let me know what kind of books you've got on your lineup, and I hope to catch you next time. Bye.